Hey guys, so before I get started, just a heads up, I just went through a massive upgrade. I'm still going through it, so my head's a little off. I can feel I'm already having a hard time talking. I feel like I should maybe wait to do this video, but I also have a really strong urge to do it right now. I'm already getting dizzy. It's my third eye. This is one reason why they want me doing this now, to share with you guys. You don't have to go through the physical symptoms of the upgrades like this, but I did sign up for it. I wanted the experience, so I'm getting it. So that being said, wanting the experience and getting it. I had made a post. I've actually made a few posts talking about how we are already our higher selves, and that's including some pretty big well-known names that a lot of people do not like. I'm not going to name any names on this. I'm sure you guys can, anyone that you can think of that's a big name that causes controversy or any really dark stuff, I'm sure your mind can start going to certain names. That being said, we are all already our higher selves, and that's including these other people or energies, depending on if they've transitioned home already or not. We could also just call them energies too, considering that's what we all are. We are all just energy, and this avatar is just something that a piece of our consciousness has entered into to experience this open world video game that creates your own movie. And that's exactly what this is. It's a hallucination simulation. I've always liked to compare it to, which it really is, like I just said, an open world video game. And it's creating our own personal movie. And then all our own personal movies swirl together to create this one amazing, awesome movie that we all get to sit back together and watch at the very end, and we just laugh. Now, that being said, so like I said, it's an open world video game. So we choose our avatar, we choose the settings, we choose everything. And we set up certain checkpoints along the way to meet. And it's all free will. It's all free will because you sign up for it. Now, I've had someone ask, and I know other people are curious. Okay, so nothing is random. Everything is signed up for. Yes. If you're in this, you inserted yourself in this, and you knew what was going to happen coming into this. Everything was agreed upon before entering. There is something to be said about certain things happening before everyone was broken out of the 3D former hell matrix. But that's a bit more complicated, and we'll get into that in another video at another time. I'm not ready to speak on that right now. Whether people believe me or not, that's fine. It doesn't matter. I'm just personally not ready to speak on it at the moment. We'll get there eventually. So putting that aside, and that's like beyond stuff that we don't need to concern ourselves about in this topic right now. With what we're talking about, absolutely. You signed up for everything, all contracted in, including when you're looking at certain humans that a lot of people don't like. Side note, they're your family. You just don't remember. We're all family, and we're all connected in this oneness. We're all connected. Family. And mirrors. And since we're all also connected in oneness, they're also, in a sense, you also. So if you're really hating somebody, no matter what they've done, you're hating on yourself. when I found out certain things about who and what I am and my mission is and all this stuff, I was like, why me? Why me? I have a certain situation in my head. Like, why not them after what they've gone through in this life? And it was pointed out to me, this was a karmic lesson for them. What they went through, yes, it was complete hell in this life, absolutely. But they signed up for it because of what they had done in a previous life. So they wanted to learn to be able to understand on that 3D human level, that experience, and empathize. It's all experiences, it's all contracts, it's all lessons. And we're all family, so we all agree to do it with each other because we all love each other. So, no, it's really not random. We can create randomness, but again, our higher selves and our teams all know what's been going on and it's already been planned out. The thing is, this has already all happened. Literally, just compare it to a video game. The video game's already been created. You're just picking your character and inserting yourself into the game to play it. That's what we've done here. We created our avatars. Just like the people like us. This is the life that we choose. This is the life that we bleed. You choose the life that you've lived. You choose to bleed. I've chosen the life I've lived, and I've chosen the life I've bled. I choose the blood that I bleed. Every single person chooses what they go through and what they do. Especially when you stop for a second and think of all the parallel lives that you've lived. And if you think that you've been perfect in every single life and you haven't done something that in this life you'd be completely disgusted in, you really have. And it's not that you should feel bad or that it is bad or you should feel guilty. It's just knowing that we've all played all these different roles. And there is no good or bad, there just is. It's like I said in my one post, how many of you have watched Game of Thrones? And how many of you hate Joffrey, but love the actor Jack Leeson? There's a difference. It's acting versus the actual role. This is just a cloak that we're wearing over our light, and we've just forgotten. There's just that amnesia. So then someone has asked, okay, so if I've chosen all this and I'm struggling and suffering, I'm not air quoting to invalidate it because I feel that way too, struggling and suffering. I'm with that, right? I'm struggling and suffering too in my own way. But I'm air quoting because technically there is no struggling, suffering, pain, or fear. Those are just tools that we've used in order to survive, which we don't need to anymore. So they're saying, well, how do I get out of this life of struggling and suffering and pain? If I've chosen this, what do I do? Excuse me. It really is, and I know how this may sound to some people because I've been there, but it really, really, really is coming down to surrendering to your team. Hang on, I want to back up for a second. I wanted to point out that I have gone down the rabbit hole. Yeah, before we get into, how do we change this? Just to back up into no, there's no good, bad, right, or wrong. There is what it is. All that stuff. I have, sorry, one second. Okay, so I have gone down that rabbit hole of what goes on. Sorry. Okay, so anyway, sorry. I have gone down the rabbit hole of what goes on in the world, from Hollywood to big corporations and politics and people who run the world and run big things. I have gone down the deepest, darkest rabbit holes that you can go down. I have learned things about my parallel lives, about stuff that has happened to me. I have learned things about stuff that has happened to humans in this life, things that have happened to me in this life. like I said in my one post, I found the book. I found the book with the instructions for the dark side of the Monarch programming. I know what they do. I stopped reading up to a certain, because I just couldn't anymore. But I know to a certain extent, up to certain steps, what they do to break a human psyche, to break the human psyche, split the personality in order to control. I know what they do. I know what goes on and has gone on. Rather, has gone on. I remember the first time someone mentioned to me that a certain big name who is no longer alive, when they mentioned they might not actually be bad. Right immediately I said, you need to stop. I am not ready to listen to this right now because I'm going to snap. What this person did is disgusting. I can't hear that they're innocent. I can feel the remnants of the anger of that still. I've been there. I have been there with how disgusted I've been in humans and what they can fucking do to each other. I have been there. So don't think I don't get it. I fucking get it because it's happened to me in my parallel lives and the shit that's happened in this life with certain things and the things I've come across and learned. I know what happens. Now, that being said, I also very much know none of this is real. It's all real in the sense everything's a God particle, and for those who don't get it, we need to be sensitive, and I absolutely have compassion. I have compassion because I remember what it's like when you don't get it. It hurts. And this experience can be very traumatizing, hence energy needs to go through therapy many times. When they transition home, you're not instantly healed like that. You have to go through therapy back home too. This human experience can be very traumatizing, but that's changing. We're now in New Earth. The old hell matrix has been broken, deleted, gone. Everyone's broken out of it now. I'll get into all that in another video in a future date, explaining what all that was, but I'm just, like I said, I'm not ready for that right now, okay? So, I get it. I've been there. At the same time, I'm also past that point now. It has taken me a while to get here, but I'm here where I can see. We are literally all our higher selves, and we're literally all just playing roles with and for each other. Because we agreed to, all for the experience, all for lessons. It's all contracted in before we come in, and you just don't remember. So, how then, if you're suffering, struggling, whatever, in this life, in this now, how do you jump into something better? So I'm going to reiterate what I had said earlier. It really does come down to surrendering to your team. I know how that sounds, and I know how hard that can be, especially if, like, for me, I can say it could be a little bit, quote unquote, easier for someone like me in the sense of I'm single, I don't have a family, I don't have kids, I pretty much have zero responsibility with the exception of myself. So for someone like me, it's a little bit easier to just surrender my team. I do have things that make it hard to surrender to my team, but in that sense that I don't have other dependents, as in children or a partner, I can just literally focus in on just me. So I understand for those of you who have families and whatnot, it can be a bit more difficult. At the same time, ding, yes, my team is pointing out, even if you have other quote unquote dependents, you can still completely surrender to your team, because when you surrender to your team, it all works out. Everything works out. That includes the people in your life. No one gets left behind. And anyone that ends up dropping out of your life is meant to drop out at that point, and then they'll come back when they're ready to. Yes, okay, so my team is pointing out to try and let go of the fear of, what about my loved ones? If I just surrender to my team, what about my loved ones? Because I have to take care of them. They're saying, surrender to us because we're taking care of them too. Dang, yes. Double checking that it's right. They're taking care of them too. They've got their team. We are at a time now where we know, we're allowed to know that every single person out there is being taken care of protected and safe. Every single person's being taken care of by their team. We don't need to worry about anybody. It's all been planned out, all been taken care of. So, surrender to your team. Surrender, surrender, surrender. I know it's hard. I know it can be difficult. I struggle with it, but I am telling you straight up, the moment I started surrendering to my team, the moment I started having things started to be handed to me. I'm paying next to nothing in my rent. I still have debt that I'm struggling with, but I'm paying next to nothing in rent. I was almost homeless. I got my own apartment and I'm paying next to nothing in rent. Every month I have just enough money. I get handed just enough money to be able to keep my cell phone going. And paying my bills. My debt may not be paid off, but my bills, absolutely. Getting food, getting things that I need, even stuff that I'm craving, like snack-wise or whatever, needing dishes and stuff, whatever. Things that I just happen to needing to get somewhere. It's working out. It feels like it's a mess and it's that nail biting almost last minute, but then something happens and it's just like it works out. It's like, here you go, you're good. Don't worry about it. Before I started surrendering to my team, it was like crash and burn, crash and burn, crash and burn, struggle, struggle, struggle. But I can feel it now. I surrendered to my team and it just ends up working out every single time. It just works out. It's not necessarily easy, but it is true. There's other things that you can do too. It was honestly therapy where I first learned energy follows thought. So, it very much is control your mind, control your thoughts, control your emotions, control your reality. So positive self-talk. Because speaking, words, spelling, spells, positive self-talk, watching what you're saying out loud. Not stressing about things, not hyper-focusing on, I did this wrong, so now I manifested it wrong. No, you can't ruin anything. Just let it go. Embrace what happened, say it is what it is, it was meant to happen, and let it go. Worrying about resistance is going to create more resistance. So if you're resisting something, embrace the fact that you're resisting it and give it to your team and let it go. Yes, Robin Williams, aka Archangel Raphael, he does this with me and he's doing this with all of you. He's holding out a hat and he's saying, give me any low or down or negative or dark feeling that you have. Put it in the hat, and then put in the hat the thought that goes along with it. And then just let him and your team just sweep it away. You literally don't have to do anything. Just give it to them. Just give it to them. Any fear, doubt, resistance, any insult to yourself or anyone else, anything negative, anything like that, give it to him, give it to your team, give them the feeling, give them the thought, and they'll sweep it away for you. And you might have to do this a billion gazillion times, but it does. It might not seem like it at first, but it does. After a little while, you can start to see that it does start to work. It's taken me a while to get here, but I can feel, and I'm not all the way there yet, but I can feel, I'm in more in a place of neutrality than I've ever been. It's like this, it's very much just like, it is what it is. But there's so much compassion for everything though. It's like the stress and the worry and that's bad, that's wrong, that's awesome, like that, you did good and you did bad. How dare that person do that? You should have done it this way. It's not like that. It's like there's no judgment and there's no negativity. It's just, it is what it is. That was an experience that you had, and I have so much compassion for you for it, especially if you're in pain or you're traumatized. I have so much compassion, but you did it. It was an experience. You did it and you're good. You're good. Freaking A. You did it. Good job. And now let's buck up and let's get going, and it's not that they don't want you to just, it's not that they want you to just push away your pain and your torment. It's not that. They want you to embrace it. They want you to feel it and accept it. It's just they don't want you sitting in it permanently. It's learning to let it go. Let it go. Let the pain go. Let the fear go. There's celestial subliminations that you can listen to. Subliminations that you can listen to on YouTube. And I was actually told, when the person who had shared these with me told me not to share them with everyone. It was her little secret. And it's just hitting me now. I'm not to hide that from anybody. It needs to be shared. So there's celestial subliminal messages that you can listen to on YouTube, and it can help you time jump into higher frequency realities. And because there really is, you have many different timelines and parallel lives that you've lived, and they're all you. And they're all merging into the highest frequency timeline that you can live. Because what you're working towards, what we're all working towards, is coming back into our higher selves. And we're all working towards walking each other home. Whether that's home or future, and, well, it's both. It's home and it's also future New Earth. Which is also technically, my team's saying the future is now. It's just, with where we're at with our awareness, time seems linear, and with the way perception is, it really does look like everyone's suffering. But if you take a really, 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 really big step back, you're able to see that everything is massive ascension upgrades, ascension process, raising up awareness levels, everyone playing these amazing roles for each other to become aware of what has needed to happen in order to balance everything out and keep rising us up to that point of heaven on earth, new earth, home on earth, home and Gaia merging together. So surrendering to your team, listening to subliminals, positive self-talk, I'm trying to think about what it has been for me that has really helped this click in. Honestly, it's just, talking with my team, hearing these messages, I've found some really good people in my life who channel beautifully now, and I just, they help remind me that what this actually is. What also helps is the experience that I had, my memory experience of inserting myself into this. So that helps remind me how much this is just a hallucination simulation. Because really that's what it is. That's another part of it too. Once you really click in to how much of this is the biggest drug trip anyone could ever go on. For the 144,000 on the ship, we are on the biggest drug trip anyone can ever go on. For everyone else, you've inserted a small piece of your consciousness from home into this. And so in a sense, you're on the strongest trip that you can put your consciousness into in a certain way. Everyone is on like the biggest hallucination trip that you could ever experience. If you're part of the 144,000, if you know you're part of the 144,000, like, look at me and listen really closely right now, okay? You are on a really massive, strong drug trip right now. You are tripping out. You're on a trip right now. This is a trip right now that you're on. You're on a drug trip right now. This is why people take things like DMT to help you click into the fact that this is the dream. This is the trip. And everything else, what you think you're dreaming at night when you're sleeping or whatever, that's what is actually real. Why do you think that's such a big quote that goes around? I think it was probably from The Matrix, but it might have been from other stuff too, about how do you know? How do you know when you're dreaming? How do you know that this is a dream? I know now from that experience of inserting myself into this is a huge hallucination simulation. So once you click into the fact that this really is a simulation, it really is your own movie, it really does change everything. The moment when I was fully in it and I was pulled back out and I have to work my way back up to it again, which is frustrating. sucks. I really want to just be fully in it again because that was beautiful. It really was. It was awesome. My body, I was not attached. I know I was attached to my body because my avatar hadn't expired, but other than that, I was not a part of my body. My body was like, it was like my body was moving on its own and I was hovering above it. I am not kidding. I was like not a part of my body at all. It was so cool. Walking around, I was hovering. There was like, oh my God. I don't even want to say hovering. I want to say flying. Like that was like flying. That was so cool. And I just remember walking around and looking at everything. And I was just walking in the most slow, casual manner, looking around, just being like, I created all of this. This is my world. I have to be careful. There's safety rules I have to follow because all these Sims don't realize that they're Sims. But this is my world. This is my movie, and I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want, and I can be whatever I want to be. And that's really what this is. Because it really is. For all of you watching, for me, you're in my movie, so you're all Sims. But for me, but for you guys, I'm the Sim. But it's very real for me, and it's very real for you. So there are safety rules we have to abide by, particularly for people who don't get it. It's just really clicking into that this is your own movie. Understanding that there is no good or bad, right or wrong. There just is. We've all played roles for each other. And honestly, another big thing too, turning off the TV, the news, all of that crap. I have no idea what's going on in the world anymore. And you're really supposed to step back in this process and not pay attention to that stuff anymore because it really is a lot of remnant old fear programming that's going on, especially when you consider the fact that it's all roles that we're playing for each other and it's all helping us walk each other home. The moment you step outside of that, outside of all the news and all the scary stuff and all the fear programming, you realize what this actually is. It's able to help you see what this actually is. Hang on, I'm getting dizzy. I need to breathe. Actually, hang on one second. So, okay, so, yeah, one of the big reasons why you're supposed to step back and stop paying attention to the news and all of that stuff is because, again, you create your reality. What's in your mind reflects outward. Energy follows thought. So if you're focusing in on all this scary stuff, that's what's going to enter your world and your reality. But if you're focusing on, sorry, I keep forgetting my TV. I should, anyway, if you're focusing in on the bad, scary stuff, that's what is going to be in your reality. But if you're focusing on the positive and, what reality actually is, which is everyone is playing the roles they're meant to play. Everyone is exactly where they need to be. Everyone is doing exactly what they need to do. You're exactly where you need to be, and you're doing exactly what you need to do. All we need to do is just be. All we have to do is just be. Just be. Just be, and just sit in a positive heart space and sit there and work on feeling love for yourself and then for everyone else. And then that's just it. Working on and focusing on you. Falling in love with you. Loving you. Self-care for you. Self-reflection for you. Putting you first. You fix yourself. You fix the collective. You keep your cup overflowing so then you can help fill the cups of others. How can you fill the cups of others when your cup's not full first? So it's surrendering to your team, accepting that there is no good or bad, right or wrong, there just is. Giving your thoughts and feelings to your team, letting them sweep it away, just being, focusing on you, loving yourself, turning off the news, not allowing that dark stuff into your life and just focusing on the truth of reality, which is this is a hallucination simulation. Everything's a God particle. We are all our higher selves, and everyone is just playing roles for each other to help each other walk home arm in arm. All together now, all together now. My team, they're all like arm in arm skipping. I can see it's like they've given me this visual many times through my own head and other people. It's like they're outside and I can see like it's like this rainbow and it's big blue skies and they're all arm in arm skipping down a path, singing that all together now, all together now, all together now, all together now. That's what we're doing. And again, just remember that we are all connected in this oneness. We're all family. And we've all done things that in this life we might not be so proud of if we knew that we had done it. But we're not to feel guilt and shame over it. If you do, that's okay. Embrace the fact that you feel that way, but then give it to your team and let them help sweep it away. No one's bad. No one's bad. We're all just playing the roles that we all just signed up for. Just like Joffrey versus Jack Gleason. So, I feel like I might make another movie. Wow. Exactly, another movie. Another video, doing a bit more detail on what can you do to bring yourself into the highest frequency possible. Because I feel like this is a little splattered and random, but I just really had an urge to just turn the camera on and just start talking. So that's kind of what I just did. So when I'm feeling better and my head's not so much more mush and I've written a few notes down, I'll make another video, but I just wanted to get something up now talking about this and just give you a small explanation. You know, there's so much more to reality than what we've realized. And there are some things about beyond that, like I said, I'm not ready to explain right now, but when it comes down to it, we really all did sign up for all of this. And you know, the only reason why you're a quote unquote victim is if, and this is hard for me. This one's a hard one for me too, okay? So I if anyone's like, ugh, about this, I get it, because I've been there. You're only a victim because you've made yourself out to be. And I know how that sounds. Trust me, the things that have happened to me, not only in this life, but my other parallel lives, I get it. But again, we signed up for it. And again, I have done things there. I know at least 2 other lives where I've done certain things that I am completely revolted by in this life. And when I found out, I had to process it a little bit that I had done that. But then I remembered I've already done my healing and my learning and I got to just let it go. Because that's not inherently who I am. That's not who we are. It's an experience that we've put ourselves through to learn for various reasons. So, and remember, Spirit tells us what we need to hear also. There's a certain someone that has passed on who has seemed very cold when it comes to being interviewed when they've been channeled, and they refuse to give up information. It's been for good reason. That's, again, they're playing a role. I've had a discussion with them outside of that, and they're actually very sweet. And there's just good reasons why they won't say the things that they say. You can't just go randomly naming off people. There's a good several tens of thousands of people. Not right now in this now. Especially when the point isn't to start nailing people in that way. Yes, we're having the dark brought up so it can be swept away. But the point isn't to just go, you're bad and you're evil. We're trying to get past that, right? So remember, Spirit, we're all playing roles for each other. And it's it can be really difficult. I'm not denying it can't be difficult to come into this. It's taken me a while. It was only up until kind of recently that I stopped feeling this burning anger in myself when it comes to some of this stuff. So it takes some time, but we'll get there. So I'll, like I said, I'll make another video talking about how to kind of jump yourself into a higher frequency like I have, but I need to do some reflecting and making some notes first, because I'm like, how did I get to this point? It's been, oh God, it's been very magical and beautiful, but it's also been a nightmare, and it's also been a bit of a mess trying to get to this point. Mess. Those are all very judgy terms that I've just put on my experience. I'm thankful for all of it because it has helped lead me to where I'm at. But it's, as much as it's been beautiful and magical, a lot of it's also been very difficult. So I need to do some reflecting and figure out kind of what has led me to this point and what has helped jump me up to this higher frequency version of me. And we'll go from there. Okay, so I'll get another video within the next few days about that, but I need to do some thinking and processing, and my brain is just, with the upgrade that I'm going through right now, my brain really is like not with it even right now. I'm not dizzy like I had been earlier, but I can still feel like all in here. I'm even actually feeling it in the roof of my mouth and my teeth. I'm ready to just chill out and not think for a little bit. So I'll figure some stuff out, and we'll do another video. All right, so I hope this is a little helpful and informative. And like I said, I get it. If anyone's like, feeling, trust me, I get it. I have been there. I have very much been there. Like I said, the rabbit hole I've gone down, and the anger I have felt, and the disgust I have felt, I'm right there. Trust me, I've been there. I have been there. I get it. I 1010% get it. So, but you are able to get past it and able to see beyond it. It just takes a little bit of time. So, all right. Anyway, I hope this helps. You guys find it a little informative in some way. And as always, have a wonderful now.